Good morning, everyone. So, ayun, we are now here to discuss our very first topic on the general principles of income taxation. I'm still your instructor, Ricardo Mariano, and ayun, apologies kung medyo natagalan tayo, but ayun, ang importante, nandito na tayo, and of course, we'll try to catch up kung medyo nahuli man tayo. Okay? For today's video, if you may, the contents or topics for discussion are the following. So we will be defining taxation, taxes, their characteristics, the underlying theory and basis of taxation. Medyo marami to actually. Nature of the power of taxation, aspects of taxation, scope of legislative power of taxation, classification of taxes, definition and nature of income tax, power to impose tax, functions of income tax, situs of income for tax purposes, basic principles of a sound tax system, history of Philippine income tax law, the BIR or the Bureau of Internal Revenue, taxes administered by the Bureau, sources of our law on income taxation, and lastly, the construction of income tax laws. So, kung titignan nyo, dun pa lang, napakarami na nating topics. Inabot tayo ng 6 slides para lang ma-enumerate yung topics. Pero, huwag kayong magalala, ganyan tayo dahil ganun naman yung discussion sa libro. We decided to switch to that book of De Leon kasi yun nga, I believe mas yung discussion niya as may mas basic kung ikukumpara natin dun sa discussion ng isang dati nating libro, mas compact, especially na yun nga limited lang din naman yung hours natin into 54. Yung isa nasa 600 to 700 pages while eto nasa at least 500 to 600 lang. 100 page lang ang diferensya pero malaking bagay yun of course when it comes to the discussion. Okay? So, let's get into it. Yeah. So, what is the definition of taxation? It is the process or means by which the sovereign, through its lawmaking body, raises income to defray the expenses of our government. Okay, so pag sinabi nating taxation, number one, it is a process. Isa itong paraan. Okay, kung saan yung sovereign natin, yung gobyerno natin, yung bansa natin, through its lawmaking body. Sino ba yung lawmaking body natin? We have the legislative, which is composed of our congressmen, senators, yan, raises income to defray the expenses of the government. Yan. So, ang purpose ng taxation ay para yun, magkaroon ng income yung gobyerno. Yeah, parang business din ng gobyerno, no? Pero not really. Ang ano niyan, kailangan ng pondo, if you may, ng gobyerno para siyempre yung mga services na ibibigay niya sa tao ay may bibigay niya, di ba? Kailangan ng tao ng kalsada, siyempre. So, saan kukunin yon? Sa taxes na binabayaran ng mga tao. Kailangan ng tao ng education, free education, for example. Saan kukunin yon? Sa taxes. Okay? So, that is our taxation. Okay? What else? It is a method of apportioning the cost of government among those who, in some measure, are privileged to enjoy its benefits and must therefore bear its burdens. Yan. So, dito sa taxation, isa itong paraan din na kumbaga itinutoka, ipinapasa okay, sa mga tao yung, yun nga, yung pagpondo sa gobyerno. Kasi syempre yung gobyerno hindi niya naman pwedeng pondohan yung sarili niya. Kailangan niya ng tulong ng mga tao. And you might ask, bakit kasi kailangan magbayad ng tao? Because the people enjoy the benefits, 'di ba, of the state. Hindi naman pwedeng puro benefits lang, kumbaga puro sarap lang, walang hirap, parang gano'n. So dahil na-enjoy ng tao yung sarap, yung benefits, okay, yung yun nga, yung magkaroon ng kalsada, safe na lugar, pabahay, ganyan. So kailangan may i-share din sila, kumbaga contribution nga. Okay, sa ating gobyerno. Okay? Because nag-enjoy ka ng benefits, you must share the burden of paying taxes. Okay? So that is our taxation. Next, what do we mean when we say taxes? Ano ba 'tong mga taxes na ito? These are enforced proportional contributions, generally payable in money, levied by the lawmaking body of the state by virtue of its sovereignty upon the persons, properties, acts, and transactions within its jurisdiction for the support of the government and all public needs. Yan. Medyo mahaba, so let's break it down, sabi nga nila, para at least mas madali nating maintindihan. Okay? So, in order to to dissect the definition of taxes, we can divide it into its characteristics. What are the characteristics? Number one, it is an enforced contribution. Pwersahan. Kumbaga sa eskwelahan, mandatory yung contribution, di ba? Hindi mo pwedeng sabihin na, ay, ayoko sanang magbayad kung pwede. Wala yun, walang ganon. Kailangan magbayad tayo ng taxes. It is generally payable in money. I'm not sure if this is your first law course, pero if you have had a law course before, maiintindihan nyo na yung sinasabi natin palagi sa batas that there is always a general rule, or most of the time, generally, there is a general rule and there is an exemption. So, general rule, ibig sabihin, most of the time, yun yung mag apply. Exception, ibig sabihin, these are the limited instances na hindi mag apply yung general rule. So, anong sabi dyan? Ang taxes daw, general rule, nababayaran through money, pera, ang pambayad sa tax. However, there can be exceptions wherein taxes can be paid in kind. Okay, pwedeng yung property mo ang magiging pangbayad mo to suffice as your tax, di ba? So generally payable in money, but there are exemptions, of course. Laid by some rule of apportionment, ibig sabihin dapat may batas na nagsasabi na magbabayad tayo ng ganitong tax. Hindi pwedeng yung tax ay sabi-sabi lang, di ba? Parang yung minsan sa gera, di ba? Sabihin nila revolutionary tax. Eh, wala namang batas na nagsasabi na kailangan magbayad ng ganong tax. So illegal 'yon for that matter. Levied on persons, property, acts, privileges, or transaction. So, ini-impose ang tax, nililevy ang tax either sa tao, through his income. So, dahil may kita ka, may sweldo ka, magbabayad ka ng tax. Pwede rin sa property, especially, although pwede rin personal, pero mas common, real property. Ano ba yung pinagkaiba ng dalawang yon? Real property are immovable properties like your house, your land, while personal property are your movable properties such as your phones, your laptops, and others. So, yung property mo na yon, especially nga real property ay may binabayarang tax, di ba? Taon-taon, amilier ba tawag doon kung hindi ako nagkakamali, or the real property tax na binabayaran natin. Acts, so pwede kang acts or transaction. So kapag nagbenta ka, di ba, meron kang capital gains tax and others. Okay? Privileges, kung may benefits, yun nga, merong burdens. What else? Levied by the state which has jurisdiction or control over the subject to be taxed. Of course, ang mag-impose ng tax sa atin ay yung ating gobyerno, yung ating bansa. Hindi naman pwedeng Pilipino ka ang mag-impose ng tax sa'yo ay yung Amerika, lalong-lalo na nasa Pilipinas ka. Di ba? So, it's levied by our state. It's levied also, or more specifically, by the lawmaking body of the state. So, ang nag-impose niyan ay yung Congress. Okay, ibig sabihin mga senator, congressman, sila yung gumagawa kung ano ba yung mga itatax, ano yung mga hindi itatax. And it is levied for public purpose. Yun naman palagi. Hindi lang naman basta nangungulekta lang yung gobyerno para yumaman yung gobyerno. Hindi naman. Merong public purpose. Merong pupuntahan. Okay? Yun nga. Kalsada, mga buildings, mga programs para sa may hirap, ganyan. So, merong public purpose. Okay? Next, what are the underlying theories and basis of taxation? We have necessity theory and the symbiotic relationship. So pag sinabing necessity theory, yun nga, kailangan kasi ng tax. Try to imagine kung walang tax, di walang pondo ang gobyerno. Di ba? So walang pondo ang gobyerno, hindi niya magagawa yung mga, hindi niya mapapasahod yung mga militar, police, teacher, so walang libreng pag-aaral, ng elementary, high school kayo, and even college for some, walang po protekta sa inyong police. Pag pinatay yung kakilala nyo, wala lang. Walang mangyayari. Hindi sila mapaparusahan. Di ba? Pag sasakupin tayo, walang dedepensa sa atin kasi wala tayong armed forces kasi wala silang sahod. Di ba? So, necessity, kailangan natin. Hindi mabubuhay ang isang state kung walang taxes. Okay? And also, symbiotic relationship. Pag sinabing symbiotic relationship, a helping hand relationship between the people and the government or the state. Sabi nga natin, di ba? Tayo, tinutulungan natin yung gobyerno kasi nagbabayad tayo ng taxes. Yung gobyerno naman, nagpo-provide sa atin ng serbisyo. Pinoprotektahan yung ating life, liberty, and property. Okay? At yung mga nagbibigay nga ng services sa atin. So, symbiotic yung relationship. Di ba? Nagtutulungan yung both sides. Hindi pwedeng yung isa lang magtatrabaho, yung isa walang gagawin. Okay? Yun lang na nung tinuro sa amin to in law school, meron pang isang theory, hindi nga lang nakalagay dito. Yung tinatawag nating life-blood theory or life-blood doctrine na nagsasabing yung taxes nga para siyang dugo, di ba? Ano ba yung dugo? Yung dugo nga lang naman yung kailangan nating lahat ng tao. So ganun din ang gobyerno, di ba? Yung taxes yung dugo niya, yun yung nagpapatakbo dun sa katawan natin, dun sa gobyerno. Okay? Although I admit, nung estudyante pa ako, lagi ko rin silang pinagko-compare ng necessity theory kasi parang magkamukha naman sila. 'Di ba? Necessity kailangan, lifeblood kailangan. So, sa tingin ko, yun yung basis ni De Leon kung bakit hindi niya na-discuss yung lifeblood because somewhat it is similar to necessity theory. But for some other references, magkaiba yun. So, siguro yun na lang yung magiging difference natin, yung root word nga nila, necessity being necessary, lifeblood, it is comparable nga to the blood of a person which is needed in order for it to survive. Okay? Next, what is the nature of the power of taxation? It is inherent in sovereignty, being essential to the existence of every government. Ibig sabihin, inherent, nandyan na yan. Hindi na kumbaga, ano bang tawag dito? When we say power of taxation, by the way, what do we mean by that? Pag sinabing power of taxation, it is the power to create laws to impose taxation. Yan. So, pag gumawa si congressman, si senator ng batas, na magbabayad ng tax yung mga, let's say, yung mga nagda-download ng mga videos, may tax na yun ngayon. Sabi niya gano'n. Yung pagda-download ng videos, may tax na. So, pag gumawa ng ganong batas, yun yung tinatawag nating exercise of the power of taxation. So, again, what's the nature of the power of taxation? It is inherent. Nandyan na yan. Hindi na kailangang sabihin sa batas, sa constitution na may kapangyarihan ang gobyerno na mangolekta ng tax. Hindi na. Actually, hindi nyo nga yan makikita kahit, ewan ko kung may klase kayo ng Constitution, but if you go to Constitution, wala kayong makikita doon na nagsasabi na the Constitution states that the government shall have the power of taxation. Walang ganon. Kasi automatic, kumbaga, yung power of taxation. Hindi na kailangan sabihin kahit pa sa Constitution. Ang makikita lang natin sa Constitution in relation to taxes is or are the limitations. Diba? Baliktad pa. Yung Constitution, nililimitahan niya pa yung power to tax. Hindi siya yung nagbigay. Ayun hindi Constitution ang nagbigay ng power to tax. No, it is inherent. Kasama na yan sa pagiging isang bansa, isang state, isang gobyerno. Kailangan talaga yan. Okay? What else? Yan, para mabuhay yung ating gobyerno. It is essentially a legislative function. Yan. Kanina pa natin naririnig yung legislative. So, to have a better perspective, ang government kasi generally divided into three major divisions or branches or functions. Kung narinig nyo na, we have the legislative, the executive, and then the judiciary. Pag sinabing legislative, to legislate, ito yung gumagawa ng mga batas. Mga congressman, mga senador. Pag sinabi mo namang executive, sila yung nagpapatupad, nag-i-enforce ng batas. Pinakamataas dyan, of course, would be the president. And yung mga different departments, okay, mga police, yan. So, mga executive yung mga yan. While the third one, the last one, the judiciary. Pag sinabi namang judiciary, we are referring to courts. Okay, yan naman yung ang trabaho naman nila is to interpret or apply the law. Yan. So, take note of that. Legislative, they make laws. Executive, they enforce the laws. Courts, they apply or interpret the laws. So basically, all of them, three branches of the government, all are intertwined. Okay, they are connected in terms of law. Depende na lang kung anong gagawin nila sa batas. Sila ba yung gagawa, magpapatupad, mag-a-apply o mag-i-interpret. Okay? So sabi dito, taxation is a legislative function. Ibig sabihin, ang ah, ang paggawa ng tax laws ay of course ginagawa ng mga congressman saka mga senators. Hindi naman yan gagawin ni President unless tariffs yung usapan or nonetheless imposition lang din ng ceilings yun eh. Hindi rin naman yan gagawin ng mga judges. Hindi naman gagawa ng tax yung mga judges. Okay? And it is subject to constitutional and inherent limitations. Sabi nga natin, sa Constitution, hindi niya sinabing may kapangyarihan ang gobyerno na mag-tax because that is inherent. Hindi niya na kailangan sabihin yun. Ang ginawa lang ng Constitution ay nilimitahan niya. Okay, baka naman kasi maabuso. Baka gawa sila ng tax na lahat ng sahod mo or 50%, 80% ng sahod mo, 90% mapupunta sa gobyerno. So, hindi naman pwede yun, di ba? So, gumawa ng limitations ang Constitution. And of course, there are inherent limitations also na kumbaga through logic, ganyan, hindi na natin kailangan pang uh, gawan ng batas. Okay, nasa makikita ng parang 'yon, 'di ba? It would be abang tawag dito, parang inutil kung ang gagamitin natin ay 100% ng kita mo ibabayad mo lahat sa tax. Ano pang natira sa'yo? So of course, those are inherent limitations. Okay? What are the aspects of taxation? These are basically the processes of taxation. Ano? Number one, the levying or imposition of the tax, which is a legislative act. Okay? Yan nga yung pagsasabi na, oh, may babayaran kayong tax according to a certain law. And the second step is the collection of the tax levied, which is essentially administrative or executive for that matter in character. So, yan yung two steps. Magpapatupad ng batas na nagsasabing ito yung tax na babayaran nyo. Then the second step, kokolektahin yung tax na gagawin naman ng administration, ang executive function. More specifically, the Bureau of Internal Revenue, the most common. So, these processes together constitute the so-called taxation system. So, yung dalawang steps na yan, pag pinagsama natin, we call that our taxation system. Okay? So, what is the scope of the legislative power of taxation? It is the determination of the subjects to be taxed. Ano ba yung mga itatax? Yun nga, yung tao, yung property niya, ayan. So, yun yung mga subjects of taxation. Purpose of the tax, of course, dapat may dahilan. Ang pinaka-common na dahilan, or most of the time, yan dapat yung dahilan, there must be a public purpose. Okay? May paggagamitan yan publicly. Excuse me. And of course, the amount or rate of tax. Gano kalaki yung babayaran, yung porsyento ng tax na babayaran as compared to its source. Okay? Manner, means, and agencies of collection of the tax. Sino, paano magkokolekta ng taxation, and all other incidents of exercising the power. So, ito yung catch-all phrase na hindi man nakasulat dito sa iba yung powers na gusto nilang gawin, basta makakatulong ito. Okay, in terms of exercising the power of taxation, pwede nilang gawin. Okay? What are the basic principles of a sound tax system? We have fiscal adequacy, equality or theoretical justice, ability to pay principal and administrative feasibility. Okay? Okay? So when we say fiscal adequacy, from the word adequate, 'di ba? Dapat sapat yung makokolektang taxes for public purpose, 'di ba? Para saan pang mangolekta tayo ng tax kung hindi rin naman mamimit yung public purpose. Okay? Next is equality of or theoretical justice or yung ability to pay principal. Yun nga, nakadepende rin kasi yung taxes natin sa ating income. For example, especially in our case, income taxation, nakadepende sa income natin. Kumbaga, syempre, kung mas mayaman ka, mas malaki yung income mo, mas malaki yung babayaran mong taxation. Kapag ikaw medyo minimum wage earner, so either mababa lang or baka exempted ka pa sa pagbabayad ng tax. Administrative feasibility on the other hand, dapat yung tax collection, tax levy, kumbaga convenient, hindi siya burdensome. Ayun, that is your administrative feasibility. Dapat madali lang siyang ma-implement, hindi yung pahirapan, kumbaga. Okay? Next, what are the classification of taxes? So, iba't iba. May classification and then may sub-classification. Okay? So, as to the subject matter or object, we have personal or poll or capitation. Examples of these are community tax, property, example of which is the real estate tax, and excise taxes. Examples are income, business, or occupation. Yeah. So, pag sinabing personal, poll, or capitation, these are taxes na walang pakialam kung ano man yung income mo, yung property mo. Basta nakatira ka in a certain place, certain jurisdiction, you have to pay this tax. Okay? Without regards, parang ito, the community tax certificate. Yeah. So, basta nakatira ka sa isang munisipyo, municipality, city, magbabayad ka nito regardless of your income or your profession or your properties, hindi natitignan yan. As compared of course to property tax, nakadepende yan kung ano yung property mo, gaano kalaki, kamahal yung property mo, so it would depend. Excise tax naman are taxes on the enjoyment of a privilege, performance of an act. Kaya yan, nandyan yung income, business, or occupation. Nakadepende, yan nga, depende sa income mo, sa kita mo sa business mo, sa exercise mo ng profession mo, kung magkakano yung ibabayad mo. Okay? Next, as to who bears the burden, we have direct and indirect. So, pag sinabi nating direct, yan yung kung kanino inimpose yung tax, siya rin yung magbabayad. Sa kanya manggagaling yung bayad. For example, kung naka-impose yan, yung community tax, tsaka income tax. So, dahil yun nga, ikaw yung kumukuha ng community tax certificate, for example, ikaw yung tinatax, ikaw yung magbabayad. Ganon din sa income tax. Kumita ka, ikaw rin yung magbabayad ng tax mo. Okay? As compared sa indirect tax na it is taken, imposed on a certain person, for example, a business. Kasi a business can be a person also, di ba? If you know that, okay? Um, Pwedeng i-impose sa business pero yung business hindi siya directly yung magbabayad dahil or siya yung magbabayad in the first instance or in the aftermath pero kukunin niya rin sa tao. Kumbaga ang nangyayari, yung tao rin talaga yung nagbabayad. Dumadaan lang dun sa business, dun sa company. 'Di ba? Parang value added tax, yung 12%. 'Di ba? Whenever you buy something, you will see 12% pala nung binayaran mo is VAT or value added tax. Okay? So, ang nagbabayad ng value added tax, ikaw. Pero ang nagre-remit nun, for example, is the business. So, indirect yung tax. Impose siya on the company, pero the one who pays it is not the company, but the people themselves. Indirect tax. Okay? Importante ang dalawang yan. Then as to determination of amount, it can be specific or ad valorem. Pag sinabing specific, yun nga, may fixed amount na. Kunwari, kada bote ng beer, kada yan, mayroong bayad na may tax na 5 piso, parang gano'n. So specific yon. So examples there, yun nga, taxes on yan, mga alak, sigarilyo, and others. Pag sinabi namang ad valorem, it would depend. Okay, nakadepende siya by proportion. So depende kung gaano kalaki yung income mo, yung real estate mo nga, gaano kamahal, gaano kalawak, your custom duties when you import, export, okay, excise taxes on your vehicles and non-essential goods. Okay, ad valorem naman yun, yung percentage wise. Okay? As to purpose, it can be general, fiscal, or revenue. Examples of which are your income tax and business tax or business taxes. Pag sinabing general, fiscal, or revenue, yan nga, yung purpose niya ay pangkalahatan. Kunwari, yun nga, may kailangan na, basta kukolektahin lang ng gobyerno, tapos pag nag-request si Congress ng budget, kailangan po namin ng budget, dun nila kukunin. General, fiscal, or revenue taxes yung mga yan as compared sa special or regulatory, yun nga from the word special, di ba? For specific purpose yung ating tax. For example, for the protective tariff on imported goods. So, magiginabang lang dito yung part na yon. Okay, yung sa importation process. So, para sa kanila lang yung taxes na yon. Okay? Else, as to authority imposing the tax, of course, it can be national or municipal or local. So national, of course, babayaran natin sa BIR talaga, yung kumbaga yung taxes natin mapupunta sa national government. Okay, examples naman yan, internal revenue taxes, income tax, custom duties, and those imposed by our laws. Pag sinabi mo namang municipal or local tax, generally yung tax natin mapupunta, yung pondo mapupunta sa ating munisipyo, sa ating city council. Although pwedeng may percentage din yung national doon, pero mainly mapupunta sa ating municipality. Examples of those are the real property tax, local business tax and community tax. Okay? Else, as to graduation or rate, yan. Graduation, malayo pa yan. Pag sinabi natin graduation or rate, depende nga sa amount, percentage ng babayaran. For example, proportional. So dito merong yun nga, from the word proportion, may fixed proportion yung babayaran natin. Ibig sabihin may fixed percentage. Ayan, such as VAT, which is 12%, and other percentage tax. So ano man yung bibilin mo, fix yung percentage niya. Kumbaga, kung VAT, ayun nga, lahat ng bagay na may VAT, kesyo mapa 1 million man yan, mapa 20 pesos man yan, ang kukunin palagi doon ay 12%. Okay? As compared to progressive or graduated, common example niyan yung income tax. Yung habang tumataas yung sahod mo, tumataas din yung rate ng babayaran mo. So progressive 'yon. Okay? Po habang tumataas. Habang bumababa yung sahod mo, bumababa rin yung percentage ng tax. Di ba? Parang spaghetti, pataas, pababa. And then, pag sinabi mo namang regressive, yan yung kabaliktaran ng progressive. Na habang tumataas daw yung sahod mo, bumababa yung percentage ng tax. Medyo ayaw yan ng Pilipinas. Kaya wala tayong regressive tax dito sa Pilipinas. Okay? Kaya wala tayong example. So now, let's define and explain the nature of income tax. Okay? So tax on all yearly profits arising from property, professions, trades, or offices, or as a tax on a person's income, emoluments, and profits. Yeah. So ang tax natin, generally yearly yan na binabayaran natin, di ba? So may kikitain tayo ngayong taon, magbabayad tayo ngayong taon. Some pwedeng quarterly, every 3 months. Nakadepende yan kung saan galing yung kita mo dahil ba sa property mo na tumaas yung value, dahil ba sa trabaho mo, dahil ba sa mga binibenta mong products, and others. So tax on income, whether gross or net, realized in one taxable year. So mapa gross income man yan, net income man yan, yun, there will be tax on your income. Okay? For the year, of course. So what are the functions of income tax? So number one, it provides revenues, and number two, it mitigates the evil or mitigate the evils arising from the inequalities in the distribution of income and wealth, which are considered deterrents to social progress by a progressive scheme of taxation. So number one, it provide revenues. Yun nga, may kita. Okay, may kikitain yung gobyerno dito para yun nga magamit niya sa kanyang mga projects or programs. And isa pa, at least dito nami-mitigate, na babawasan, napapahina yung inequalities daw na nangyayari when it comes to our society, di ba? Yung tipong yung may hirap, talagang sobrang hirap, yung mayaman, talagang sobrang mayaman. Hindi sila malayong malayo yung diferensya nila, di ba? May inequality. So with taxation, kahit papano daw, mapaglalapit nila yung equality na yon. Okay? Kasi nga naman, mayaman, malalaki yung tax. Yung may hirap, maliliit or exempted na sa tax. Tapos yung mga makukuhang tax, gagamitin yun for programs of the government para ma-alleviate din yung poverty, yung mawala yung kahirapan, for example. Okay? So what does situs of income for tax purposes mean? So when we say situs, it means a place. So dito, the place of taxation. Okay? So the basic rule is that the state where the subject to be taxed has a situs, may rightfully levy and collect the tax. So tulad na ito ng nasabi natin kanina. Siyempre, kung nasan ka as a taxpayer, kung nasan yung property mo na tinatax nila, dun ka magbabayad. Di ba? Kung Pilipino ka, magbabayad ka sa Pilipinas. Kung yung property mo nasa Tarlac, sa Tarlac City ka magbabayad ng real property tax. Diba? So basic rule natin yun. Okay? And the situs is necessarily in the state which has jurisdiction or which exercises dominion over the subject in question. So same as the basic rule. So kung nasan yung subject of taxation, dun tayo magbabayad ng tax. What are the factors in determining the situs or the place? So number one, nature of the tax and subject matter, whether it be a personal tax, property tax, or an act or activity in relation to the payment of taxes. Meron kasi accordingly to our national laws, the local government code, meron yung mga taxes na pwede lang bayaran in a certain place. For example, franchise. Yan. So franchise, pwedeng national, pwedeng provincial. Pwede bang magsingil ng franchise tax ang munisipyo? Hindi. Yan. So, depende rin sa kung ano yung tax. Di ba? Yung franchise tax kasi, ito yung tax na binabayaran natin para magawa yung isang activity na imbued with public interest. Tulad ng sa television, di ba? Yung ABS-CBN, yun nga yung naging problema ata nila. Franchise nila. And then, kunwari, yung mga sasakyan, yung mga public utility vehicles, franchise yung mga yun. Okay, so yun, pwede lang singilin yung mga yun ng taxes, okay, yung franchise nila, by the provincial government or the national government. Hindi sila pwedeng singilin ng municipal or city government. City, double check na lang natin in the future, pwede ata. Municipal ang hindi. So, depende sa nature ng tax. Okay? Possible protection and benefit that may accrue both the government and the taxpayer. Yun. So, syempre, titingnan natin yung mga ka-benefit both parties, sa gobyerno and the taxpayer. So, of course, saan pinakamalapit, yun yung beneficial, di ba? Domicile or residence, yun nga, saan nakatira yung magbabayad. Citizenship, kung Filipino ba siya. And yun nga, depende rin sa kanyang income or the source of income. Okay? Recipient of income is a citizen or resident of the Philippines. Of course, sa Philippines magbabayad. Basis na pala to, sorry. No. Yan, basis. So, ano yung dahilan, ano yung basehan natin para malaman kung saan dapat nagbabayad? Okay, yung place, yung situs. Because the recipient of the income is a citizen or resident of the Philippines. So, dahil Pilipino ka, yun nga, it follows na magbabayad ka ng tax sa Pilipinas. Di ba? And yung kita mo naman, dahil nasa Pilipinas ka nga, galing din sa sources within the Philippines. Dahil sa business ng pag-aalaw ng Pilipinas sa mga businesses, kaya ka kumikita. Hence, magbabayad ka rin sa Pilipinas, hindi sa ibang bansa. Okay? History of Philippine income tax. So actually, napakarami nito, no? Pero i-summarize na lang natin. So the very first, we have the United States Revenue Act of 1913, which was approved on October 3, 1913, which was the first legislation providing for income taxation in the Philippines. So try to remember, of course, na dati nasakop tayo ng mga Amerikano, kaya yung mga batas natin noon, yung pinakauna, especially yung income tax, ay gawa ng United States. Okay? And then we had our own ito I believe, sakop pa rin tayo dito, Commonwealth Act, or nasa transition na tayo towards independence, the Commonwealth Act number 466, which was approved on June 15, 1939, which came up with the term National Internal Revenue Code. In-emphasize natin ito kasi yun nga, yun hanggang ngayon, yan yung pangalan ng ating tax law, the National Internal Revenue Code. Okay, tax code in short, or NIRC. Pero on some references, kumbaga yung pinaka ginagamit pa rin daw natin ngayon, although with amendments of course, na may mga revisions, may mga konting pinalitan, pero generally galing pa rin siya dun sa PD or Presidential Decree number 1158, which was enacted on June 3, 1977, panahon ni former President Marcos. Okay? Ayan. So, that's our NIRC. And just to give a if, trivia, if you may, so presidential decrees were made during the time of former President Ferdinand Marcos when we were still under the martial law. So kapag may nagsabi sa inyo na, uy, may bagong PD, may bagong presidential decree, that is not true because yun nga, itong mga batas na ito gawa ng presidente nung panahon ng martial law. Eh wala naman tayo sa martial law ngayon, hence hindi pwedeng magkaroon ng bagong presidential decrees or PD. Pwede bang gumawa ang president ng mga batas? Pwede on a limited capacity para lang sa kanyang mga under sa kanyang executive branch, and tinatawag natin yung executive order, hindi na presidential decree, yung EO ba. Okay? Next, we have the Republic Act number 8424, which was enacted in December 11, 1997, or the so-called Tax Reform Act of 1997. Some references naman, ito yung sinasabing pinaka-main tax law natin, Republic Act number 8424. And lastly, we have the Republic Act number 10963, or the Tax Reform for Acceleration and Inclusion, which is also known as the Train Act or the Train Law. Meron pa yung isa actually, yung create. Kaso, that is for your corporate taxes. Eh, ang usapan natin dito, income tax, di ba? So, yung business taxes, I believe, baka ibang course nyo yun or yun nga, hindi madi-discuss dito. So, yan yung history ng ating income tax here in the Philippines. So what is the role and composition of the BIR? So under the tax code, all matters pertaining to Philippine income taxation are under the administration of the Bureau of Internal Revenue, headed by its chief known as the Commissioner of Internal Revenue or CIR, and four assistants known as the Deputy Commissioners. So who exercises supervision and control over the Bureau of Internal Revenue? We have the Department of Finance. Yan, ganyan kasi sana, di ba, sa gobyerno natin. Merong, of course, the President, and then may mga departments siya headed by the secretaries, and the departments may kanya-kanya silang bureaus. Di ba? If I may give an example, aside from the BIR under the Department of Finance, sa criminology, we have the Philippine National Police under the Department of Interior and Local Government naman. Next, what are the general powers and duties of our Bureau of Internal Revenue? Number one, to assess and collect all national internal revenue taxes, fees, and charges. Yan. So, ang trabaho nila, assess. Ibig sabihin, tignan nila yung mga income natin, and then sabihin nila, uy, eto dapat yung babayaran ninyo. Titignan nila kung tama ba o hindi yung binabayaran nating income tax, yung fina-file nating income tax return. And of course, aside from assessing, sila na rin yung nangongolekta. Okay? But take note, hindi porket na sila yung nangongolekta, it necessarily means na sa kanila tayo magbabayad. Okay? Some, nagbabayad tayo sa, it can be, in some cases, nagbabayad tayo sa mga bangko, ganyan, doon tayo nagbabayad ng taxes. Okay? And of course, i-remit lang sa kanila. Okay? Taxes, fees, charges, enforce all forfeitures, penalties, and fines in connection therewith. Pag nalalate tayong magbayad, kulang, so may penalties yung mga yan, kapangyarihan din ng BIR na ipatupad yung, or kolektahin yung mga yan. Then execute judgments in all cases decided in its favor by the CTA and the ordinary courts. Yeah. So of course, kapag may by the way, when you say CTA, this stands for the Court of Tax Appeals. Yan. Kapag may mga kaso in relation to taxes at hindi natin nagustuhan yung judgment ng manaunang courts, pwede natin i-file sa Court of Tax Appeals. At pag may mga judgment doon, kunwari sabi niya, okay, si taxpayer Juan de la Cruz ay talagang kailangan magbayad, so ipapatupad yun ng BIR. Okay? Give effect to and administer the supervisory and police power conferred to it by law. So take note of that, the Bureau of Internal Revenue have police powers, di ba? Kumbaga, we call them law enforcers also, yung mga taga BIR. Kaya nga sa totoo lang, ay hindi pwede. But strictly speaking, law enforcers din ang mga taga BIR kasi yun nga, may pinapatupad silang batas. Anong batas yon? Tax laws. Hindi mo lang sila siguro aasahan na mga aresto ng tao, di ba? Pero ipapatupad nila yung batas. So they are law enforcers themselves. And lastly, to recommend to the Secretary of Finance all needful rules and regulations for the effective enforcement of the tax code. Yan. So pag may nakita silang medyo pangit na yung ganitong batas natin, rules natin sa pag-implement ng NIRC or ng tax code, i-recommend nila, Secretary ng Department of Finance, pwede bang gumawa tayo ng ganitong rules? Isa-suggest yun ng PIR. Okay? Other functions, accounting for all revenues collected. So, hindi lang naman sila collect ng collect, dapat ina-account din nila, binibilang din nila yung kanilang collections. Exercise all legal requirements that are appropriate. Of course, may mga duties and responsibilities din sila. Mag-file ng annual reports, okay, magbigay ng information sa public within 15 working days. Yan. Prevent and prosecute tax evasions and other illegal activities. Yun, pag may mga tumatakas at hindi nagbabayad ng tax, yan, kailangan ikasuhan nila. Exercise supervision and control over its constituents or its yung mga lower offices, okay? And perform such other functions as provided by law. Again, always no, kapag enumerations ng functions, ganyan, responsibilities, duties, meron dapat lagi yan sa dulo. Yung others, di ba? Na hindi man nakasulat dito sa mga unang sinabi natin ay pwede pa rin gawin ng isang agency, in this case ng BIR, bas in furtherance para magawa nila yung kanilang trabaho. Okay? Next, what are internal revenue taxes? Taxes imposed by the legislative body other than duties on imports and exports. Yan. So, yung mga tax na pinapakolekta ng ating Congress, yan, internal revenue taxes yan. Exception lang, hindi kasama yung import and export taxes. Yung mga taxes na binabayaran pag nagdadala tayo ng products sa Philippines or naglalabas tayo ng products from the Philippines. So what else? Under the administration of the Bureau, of course, basta kaya nga tinawag na Bureau of Internal Revenue, di ba? So basta internal revenue taxes, IR taxes, under yan ng BIR. What else are deemed internal taxes under the tax code? Income tax, yung tax na binabayad natin based on our yung sa kinikita natin. Estate and donors tax. Pag ilayo natin, mamatayan tayo ng kamag-anak, tapos marami siyang ari-arian, mayaman si papa, si lolo, yung ari-arian niya, magbabayad ng tax. Babawasan yung ari-arian niya, pambayad ng tax. Ganon din sa donors tax, may idodonate ka, may babayaran kang tax. Okay? Value added tax or VAT and other percentage taxes, for example, on small businesses, domestic carriers and keepers of garages, nagtatransport ng mga yung mga nagtatago na ay imbakan ng mga equipment, international air and shipping carriers. So yun din, yung nagtatransfer, yung mga ano ba yung mga delivery natin, mga Shopee, Amazon for international, excise taxes on certain goods such as yun nga, liquor, cigarettes, yung sometimes called sin tax, di ba? Or percentage tax nga. Documentary stamp tax, di ko na maalala to kung magkano. Nung bagong graduate ako, 15 pesos, di ko sure ngayon kung 30 o 40 na ata. Na yun, binabayaran natin to make our documents talagang legal, okay, if you may, or public. And other miscellaneous taxes as are or hereafter may be imposed by the law and collected by the Bureau of Internal Revenue. Generally, ito lang yung mga taxes pero pwede pang magdagdag ng taxes ang ating Congress. So what are the sources of our law on income taxation? Of course, we have the Constitution, but again, hindi yung Constitution yung nagbigay ng power. Inherent yung power. Ang ginawa lang ng Constitution is to limit the powers. Statutes, mga batas, yung mga na-mention natin kaninang Republic Acts, Presidential Decrees, and by the way, when we speak of Republic Acts, yun na yung tawag sa mga batas natin ngayon. Kung may mga nakikita kayong Commonwealth Act, yung act lang, batas pambansa, yung mga dati pa yon. Ngayon, Republic Act na. Okay? income tax regulations promulgated by the Secretary of Finance or tinatawag ding mga revenue regulations. Kaya nga 'di ba kanina, si BIR pwede siyang mag-suggest kay Secretary of Department of Finance na gumawa ng rules para mas ma-implement ng tama yung tax code. So, ano yung rules na gagawin ni Secretary of Finance? Revenue regulations or income tax regulations. Administrative rulings and opinions kasi quasi-judicial body rin ang ating BIR, di ba? Kasi pag may mga questions about sa legality ng tax, yan, pwede silang or propriety sa pagiging tama o mali ng tax, pwedeng magdesisyon dyan ng BIR, CIR, Secretary of Finance. Pwede rin silang magbigay ng opinions. Kumbaga, pwede natin silang sulatan CIR, Secretary of Finance. Ganito ang sitwasyon ko. Nagbabayad ako ng tax, ganito yung business ko, tama ba yun na ganito yung percentage ng babayaran ko? Hindi, ganyan-ganyan. So, pwede natin sila actually tanungin. And once na sumagot sila, yun na yung tinatawag nating administrative opinions. Take note, however, na yung administrative opinions na yan, although source yan ng law of income tax, hindi yan general, no? Hindi yan pwedeng mag-apply sa lahat. It only applies to you kung sino ka man na humingi ng opinion sa ating BIR. Okay? Judicial decisions. Pag sinabing judicial decisions, decision ito ng mga korte. Regional Trial Court, Court of Appeals, Supreme Court, yeah. And tax treaties with other countries. Pag may mga kasunduan tayo when it comes to taxes with other countries, mga ibang bansa. So, how are income tax laws construed? Pag sinabing how are these laws construed, paano sila ini-interpret? Paano natin sila intindihin? So, number one, we go to the legislative intention, which must be the one to be considered. Tignan natin, ano ba yung intention ng Congress? Bakit ba nila ginawa tong tax na yon? Doon natin titignan. Okay? If there is doubt, it should be construed strictly against the government and liberally in favor of the taxpayer. Ito, importante ito. Pag merong doubt, kumbaga malabo yung batas, ano yung magiging interpretation ng batas na yon? Dapat against the government and in favor sa taxpayer. Di ba? Dapat i-strictuhan nila yung interpretation nila against the government, pero luluwagan nila yung interpretation nila in favor of the taxpayer. Ganon kaswerte ang taxpayer, di ba? So although may binabayaran ka, pero pag nagkaroon ng doubt, yun, yung interpretation, medyo, hindi naman always, pero medyo pabor sa'yo. Okay? Mas luluwagan nila yung interpretation sa'yo, medyo i-strictuhan nila sa gobyerno. Bakit kaya? Kasi yung gobyerno yung gumawa niyan eh. Di ba? So dapat, dahil sila yung gumawa, mas sinigurado nila na walang doubt. Dahil nagkaroon ng doubt, edi dapat panagutan nila yon. Dapat hindi yung taong bayan, yung taxpayer yung malulugi dahil sa malabong ginawa ng gobyerno. However, if there is no doubt, it should be the ordinary meaning. So applicable lang yung strict enforcement and liberally in favor of the taxpayers, strict sa government, kung may doubt sa tax, pag malabo yung may capable of multiple interpretations yung tax law. Pero pag napakalinaw ng tax law, wala na yung strictly against, liberally in favor, wala nang gano'n. Kung ano lang yung meaning niya, yun lang. Kasi wala namang doubt. Okay? So, how about tax exemptions or refunds? Yung, exempted ka na sa tax, o kaya naman sumobra ka ng tax, ibabalik sa'yo. Is it also strictly against the government? No. It is not strictly against the government anymore, but against the one who asserts the claim of exemption. Yan. Strictly against dun sa nagsasabi na exempted siya. Yan. Baliktad na kasi sasabihin mo exempted ako, sabi mo gano'n. Patunayan mo na exempted ka. So yung interpretation ng batas laban sa'yo. Kasi syempre, isa pang bagay, kung ihahayaan kasi lahat na, exempt ako, pagbibigyan lahat yun, edi exempted na lahat, wala nang nagbayad, di ba? So, strictly against the claimant dun sa nagsasabing exempted siya. Patunayan mo talaga na exempted ka. Okay? What else? Are there instances na the general rule strictly against the claimant of exemption, yung interpretation or construction ng tax laws. Pero sabi nga natin, in every rule, there shall always be an exemption, generally speaking. Diba? So, pwede rin ba na medyo luwagan yung construction, yung interpretation ng tax exemption sa nagki-claim ng tax exemption? Pwede. Okay? When the law itself expressly provides for a liberal construction. Pag yung batas mismo nagsabi na pag may nag-claim ng tax exemption, sige, luwagan nyo lang yung interpretation. Okay? Pag sinabi niya mismo yon, di pwede. Okay? And then lastly, I believe this is the last slide. When the exemption is in favor of the government itself or its agencies or of religious, educational, or charitable institutions, because the general rule is that they are exempt from tax. So kapag yung exemption ay para sa gobyerno, para sa mga religious organizations, simbahan, educational institutions, schools, or charitable institutions, in favor sa kanila yung interpretation. Liberal, luluwagan yung interpretation para sa kanila. Bakit? Kasi general rule, exempted naman sila in the first place, di ba? Gobyerno, hindi naman magbabayad yan ng tax ng sarili niya, di ba? Parang binayaran niya yung sarili niya. General rule. Religious, yung mga religious organizations, especially when it comes to property tax, yan, hindi exempted yung mga yan. And even schools, hindi magbabayad yung mga yan. Okay? So kapag may exemption pa na para sa kanila, it will be liberally construed or interpreted in their favor. So yung dalawang yan, kapag government, religious, educational, or charitable, o kaya naman pag mismong sinabi ng batas, pwede siyang i-construe or interpret liberally ng maluwag. Okay? Yung tax exemption. Okay? So do you have questions? So if you have questions, just you may send it in our group chat para itanong yung question nyo doon, masagot ko, makita ng lahat yung question nyo tsaka yung sagot. Okay? So, ayan, i-upload ko lang ito and yun, pakibasa, pakinood, take notes if you want, and then we'll have a recitation by next meeting. Okay? Thank you and goodbye.